Oke guys, kita bersama rombongan udah sampai di stasiun Bruges. Sekarang kita mau jalan kaki menuju ke city centernya atau namanya sentrum di sini, kurang lebih sekitar 10 menit jalan kaki. Ya. Suasana stasiunnya gini, anginnya cukup dingin. Moga-moga di luar lebih hangat ya, karena kita kena matahari. Dia nggak enaknya di Eropa nih kalau misalnya lagi anginnya kenceng, bikin sakit. Nah, yang bayar itu kan? Iya, 0,6 euro. Make Bruges.
Gak ada ikon-ikon
Di luar mungkin ya, ikon-ikon. Apa itu?
katedral.
Bruges adalah sebuah kota di Belgia Utara yang ditetapkan UNESCO sebagai situs warisan dunia. Meskipun kotanya kecil, Bruges menawarkan banyak objek wisata menarik yang bisa dikunjungi, mulai dari gedung-gedung bersejarah, tempat makan yang menyajikan santapan lezat, hingga jalan-jalan sempit berbatu yang menawarkan kejutan di tiap sudutnya. Dari pagi sampai sore hari, kota Bruges sangat padat, tapi menjelang malam, kota ini bak kota mati. Hanya segelintir orang yang lalu lalang. Hal ini disebabkan karena banyaknya rombongan turis yang pulang hari dari Brussels yang letaknya hanya 1 jam dari Bruges. Bruges dikenal sebagai salah satu kota di Eropa yang dinamai The Venisia of the North. Disebut demikian karena banyaknya kanal-kanal dan sungai yang mengalir di penjuru kota yang mengingatkan orang akan Venisia di Itali. Selengkapnya kita dengarkan penjelasan dari tour leader berikut ini.
Translated to good day. It was basically a wooden stick with a pin on it. So on the 18th of May 1302, 1500 French soldiers as well as French wealthy citizens were massacred in the city center, and the French commander of the troops, Mr. Chatillon, he was able to slip out the city center dressed in a monk's outfit, and he told the French king what had occurred. Now, of course, this meant war. And King Philip immediately organized a large army of 8,000 troops, mostly noblemen on horses, and he marched his army to Bruges. Now, our army mostly consisted out of foot soldiers who were simple peasants or crossmen like these two guys over there, and the two armies met outside, 50 kilometers south from here, near the border of France. Now, we were completely outnumbered, but we played it smart. So we waited for them on a swampy, muddy field, waiting for their cavalry to attack, and when they did, the horses would sink into the ground, and the French built it above one of our canals that we called the water halls, because boats could sail in, unload their goods, and sail on. And for over 500 years, they were all over this side of the square. Until the 1900s, it was no longer functional. So they tore it down and built this provincial court on top of it. And here you see a cross-section of the water halls, and you see boats going on the street level, unpacking its goods. And still today, there is a canal running under the provincial court. Now, next to the provincial court, you have the Historia Museum. Inside the museum, you can join a virtual reality tour. So you put on some goggles, and you sail into the 15th century Bruges, and you go inside the water halls. It only takes 8 minutes, but it gives you perfect insight of how Bruges must have looked like in the 15th century, so it's really recommended. Able to play all kinds of tunes on random times. So guys, welcome to our trading halls. This was the market hall where trade got organized. Now I told you that wool and cloth was the main trading product here sold in these halls. So it's no coincidence that the street right next to here is called the Wollestraat or Wool Street. Now guys, the market square was also the place where all the executions were done. And these hangings, they would occur on the market square 50 or 60 times a year. And they were public events that would take a whole day, and people from all over the city would gather around the market square to witness these public hangings. And they would start excessively drinking. Now guys, I was thinking, and I know this is historically correct, but when the hang was over, you probably felt a bit drained. So when you're sitting back home on a Sunday morning, taking your best mate, got a hangover. You're probably referring to a gruesome event from the Middle Ages. Of the lords of Grushhusen. And Grushhusen means house of Grut. Grut was a necessary ingredient to brew beer in the Middle Ages before they used hop. It was a mixture of herbs. And this family had the monopoly on the trade of Grut. That's how they became so wealthy and were able to build a palace like this right next to the Church of Our Lady. And they even had a separate access to their house to get inside, so they didn't have to mingle with the common people to get inside. Now, this museum recently opened its doors after 3 years of renovation. And I must say the ticket booth doesn't really blend in with the rest of the building, don't you think, guys? There's already a petition going online to break it down. So yeah, now it's a museum, and a large amount of historical objects gives the visitor an insight into this rich family's life. Now I have a portrait of one of the family members. For example, can anyone recognize this beautiful, charming fella? Henry VIII, exactly. Now, Queen Elizabeth II is a member. And the former King of Spain, Juan Carlos, and the former President of France, Nicolas Sarkozy, are also members. Now, the Emperor of Japan is also a member, but he lost his necklace in his room in Madrid. And this necklace is approximately worth $60,000. So guys, if any one of you come across it during your travels, bring it to me, and I'll return it to its rightful owner. So guys, all these people were or are still part of a knighthood that was established here in Bruges in 1430 by Philip Good, and Mr. van Gruuthuis over there was one of its very first members. Unfortunately, the male bloodline of Mr. Gruuthuis is extinct, and he didn't make it. So guys, we are standing on the site of one of the oldest and still existing hospitals in Europe, the St. John's Hospital, built in the 12th century. This was our hospital until the 1970s, and after that they built a new general hospital in Bruges, where I was born. And then it lost its function and was transformed into a museum. Medical records date back to 1,000 years ago, and all this time this was a place where nuns and monks took care of travelers, pilgrims, the sick, basically anyone who needed food, medical care, or a bed could come in there and get it for free. And that's where the name hospitality is derived from. Inside you can check out the old sick. It was only used by poor women. But later, when a lot of noblemen went on their crusades and never returned, women from the high society came to live there as well because they lost their husbands on the battlefield, or there were no more noblemen left to marry them. And these ladies would live in there together in a community, were very self-sustainable. They had their own gardens. That changed the history of Bruges. Let me tell you what happened. It's a small history lesson. So in the 15th century, the rulership was passed from the Dukes of Burgundy to the Emperors of Habsburg through marriage policy. And Bruges fell under the rule of Maximilian of Austria. But Maximilian's only interest was expanding expanding his territory by warfare, and to make war you need money, so he rose taxes. And the people of Bruges, they didn't accept him as their new ruler and rose up against him. And when Maximilian of Austria came to town in 1488, surrounded by some soldiers to knock down the Bruges rebellion, we managed to capture Max, and we held him captive inside that building on the market square. Now that was never a very good idea, because Maximilian of Austria, he was the second most powerful man in Europe at that time. Only the Pope was more powerful. And to make it all worse, we got his close advisor and very good friend Peter Langhals.
Kanal-kanal Bruges dipenuhi banyak angsa di mana populasinya dijaga untuk berjumlah minimum 100 ekor. Pada abad ke-16, angsa adalah simbol status. Semakin banyak angsa yang Anda miliki, semakin kaya dan bermartabatlah Anda. Kota Bruges betul-betul indah. Sejauh mata memandang, Anda bisa melihat gereja dengan arsitektur menawan, monumen bersejarah, dan kafe-kafe kecil di pinggir kanal yang menawarkan hot coklat ala Belgia. Tapi bagi saya, hal yang paling mengasihkan justru mengeksplorasi kota dengan berjalan kaki. Kota Bruges sangat kecil, jadi selama Anda membawa peta tidak akan tersesat. Para warganya pun ramah dan bersedia membantu.
That is why. In the 15th century there were 54 breweries and 1800 bars in the city center. So you can imagine the atmosphere in the city center, guys. Loads of drunk people running around, tasting chickens and pigs. A little like Ireland today. Luckily the Irish always take it very well. Now a lot of people in Bruges must have drunk themselves a bit of brain damage, because it was back then that the people of Bruges, they wanted to build a mental hospital for its people. The only problem was they needed permission from their Emperor Maximilian of Austria. Now we all know that naked men in the streets and already washed, which was a big bonus here in the Middle Ages. And they would open up their businesses here behind their little windows. And over there, you can see the symbol of a brothel, two swans facing backwards. You see those in Amsterdam as well. Now guys, you're going inside the street. At the end of the street, on your right hand side, you'll find a depiction of the bathing area. And the next stop is the Church of Our Lady. His eyes out. The donkey was blind, didn't know where it was heading to, and left the city gate with this golden dragon statue in the back. And that's why still today this street over there is called the Blind Donkey Street, as a reminder of our heroic local donkey. Now guys, if any one of you is planning a trip to Ghent, take a good look on top of their belfry. You will find this golden drang statue and know that it belongs right here because it is ours. Alright guys, this was the final legend of the day. If you hadn't had enough walking around the city with us, I invite you to join the night tour. Same concept, but we start at 8 p.m. behind the statue. We take you to a different part of town, tell you different stories. Now I'm going to hand out pamphlets with discounts. For example, you can use those discounts across the square behind that bus, and chocolate shop de Pont. No, chocolate de Beurre. Over there you can buy homemade chocolate. And if you show this coupon, you get a 10% discount.